Summon Rush, 1+1 on legendaries for sacreds, and a fusion. This is what I live to pull for. Hello everyone, Bront, CatHerder here. We're having some fun talking Raid Shadow Legends, and we have a confluence of all kinds of fun events going on here. We have a 1+1, we have a progressive chance for a couple of interesting champions. I don't want to select them right now. We have a Summon Rush. No, I don't want to buy anything. We have a Summon Rush right here. And of course, we have fragments for Dawncaller Sabbathus. So on this account, I need 50. So I need to go all the way here. So I need to pull at least 11 sacreds. I have 16 of them. However, I would actually really like to get this legendary thing here. So I'm going to pull at least 14, and I think I'm going to pull 15 because I would like this mythical skill tome. 15 should get me a legendary. I'm actually not 100% sure where my mercy is. Let me go. I will check that quick before we actually start pulling. But we are definitely going to pull. And on this account, I've got an Elva, I've got a No Pardon, I don't have a Kaja, who's interesting, but Fina is just kind of the rare champion you don't get a chance to get too often. So we're going to pull for Fina. I think she would actually help this account. She would help my main account as well, but we're on my alt at the moment. So I will be right back, check my mercy, and then we will start pulling. All right, so I am 6 in a mercy. We have a Pepsi here, not a sponsor, but they could be. Come on, Pepsi. Let's do it. So get some prayers to our and Jesus, because that's what we do. And, we'll be pulling some shards. Well, tonight for when I'm filming this video, it'll have been yesterday. And of course, tonight for those of you who I will usually stream on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and CatHerder days. Tuesday and Thursdays are the nights at US Central Time. But I will actually be streaming especially on Wednesday night as well. So if you want your shards pulled, stop by my stream. We'll pull shards. I love pulling shards for other people. It's awesome. I'll bring plenty of Pepsi. We'll have a ball. And, we'll get you some gold. But we are looking for gold here. We're going to pull down to, well, I've got 16 of them right here. In fact, let's see if I can hide myself quickly. See, 16. And, all right, we are going to pull. We're going to pull until I have one left because that gets me the Mythic book, which will be very good, especially because this account is getting Mikage, and I could use the books for Mikage. So let's get a punch of gold. That is a Maeve. That is not gold. She is not particularly great. I believe she's one of the book champions that needs tons of books. That is a Broodlord. I've actually got a 60 Broodlord on this account. When I got the account, there was somebody who had 60 Broodlord beforehand. I really don't care for this champion. I found that was better off not using them than using them for faction wars. They're okay, but they really, honestly, you need a Krisk to make use of a Broodlord, which is unfortunate. Maybe Jarag would work too. That is a Fane. I'll definitely empower my Fane. Fane does a lot of damage. She's super squishy, but she's got the decreased defense on the weaken here and a bunch of poisons. She is a very good clan boss damage dealer and can be used in a 1-key Ultra Nightmare team and some of the unkillable teams that are the 2Xs like the Myth Fu or the Bat Eater. Definitely needs some really good gear to do that, but she is capable of doing that better than some legendaries, so that's pretty good. Let's get something cool. That is not something cool. Maroka. Never been impressed with her. She was a fusion champion a couple years ago, I think, as part of another fusion. Vrask. I know some people say that Vrask is underrated, but I think Vrask is pretty good. He's a decent mid-game healer when you need an automatic healer on an A1. Doom Priest is certainly a little bit better because Doom Priest does it on her turn on a passive that also cleanses. But Vrask does heal based off of his max HP, which means his heals can be a lot chunkier in some cases. That's 5 down. That is a Venomage. Venomage is amazing as always. Definitely going to be empower her. Venomage has got the wonderful passive, so if enemies under heal reduction do less damage, do not underestimate this. And then you put heal reduction up here. decent for Amius. The big reason I don't like her on Amius is the fact that this is a 3-turn cooldown heal reduction, and heal reduction is so easy to get turned into a continuous heal if you're not careful. So you need to time this just right in order to have this be most effective against Amius. It's still better than not having heal reduction, but I've generally found that she's a little clunkier to use than otherwise, or you need like 2 Venom Mages to really make it work very well. Oh, come on, where's the gold? Arwid Quivergrass. So, you know, okay. I think I actually built her on my main for some stuff. I think she does okay damage. She's, there's an AoE there. Removing random buffs can certainly be nice. Yeah, she's okay. Therisk, she was the first champion with decreased resistance and never really found a great place for her. For some progression in Hydra, this was not a bad debuff because if you built her with the accuracy, then everyone else didn't need quite as much accuracy, but it was still kind of a clunky build. She doesn't do enough damage or much else of anything else to really do a lot of stuff. She can remove random buffs. She can increase the duration of random debuffs. Inflicts more damage against resistance champions who are lower than her accuracy. Just it never quite materialized into a great kit. I think she has the makings of a really good kit, but just doesn't play in a lot of areas. Come on, let's get some gold. That is Chancellor Yasmin. I really don't care for this champion. There we go. Grohawk the Bloodied. Ooh. Alrighty, and Trunda. Yes. These are both great polls, actually. So Trunda is the Queen of Hydra. I do not have a Trunda on this account, so Trunda will be absolutely amazing. This will be good. I don't have a reset. I've got a Kymar, so I've got a reset champion, but I could certainly try to build the reset Trunda teams. But honestly, Trunda's just really good. She's useful to have around and have built on your account. She's got the A1 that hits 2 times, has a chance to stun. This got increased to a 50% chance, I think, or recently. She's got the A2 Cloak of Ages, 4-turn cooldown, attacks an enemy, then attacks the second, dealing 60% damage inflicted the first hit and ignoring only the second hit. The second hit's an AoE on everybody else. And this used to be able to do extra crit damage and would stack and do all kinds of doubling and tripling and quadrupling. They fixed it slightly. And I say fixed it slightly as it still is one of the most damaging abilities in the game, but it is no longer the absolute nuke it used to be, so it definitely cut down on damage. But this is still a huge nuke, still useful in PvP, still useful in Hydra, still useful for wave clear. Trunda, very, very good for that. She's now got some HP burn and stun on this account on this part as well. This also does some decent amount of damage. She will hit a second time if they're not under the stun. So it's kind of weird. You want to build her with accuracy to get that HP burnout, or you don't want the accuracy and then you get that second hit out. But she also increases her attack for every stun or HP burn she places, so she can basically ramp herself up by placing stun or burn as well. Plus, for things like Hydra, you can't stun them. She's going to get that second hit on that account anyway. This is still on a 5-turn cooldown, and that's really the only big flaw with her is her cooldowns are absolutely massive, which is why reset champions are kind of the way to run with her. So this is awesome, though. Trunda is a great addition to this account. I don't have a Grohawk on either of my accounts either, and I actually kind of like this dude. Now, I will be fair, he is probably not going to get built on this account because I don't think he's really an endgame champion, but he's got a good speed aura in all dungeons. That's nice. Double hitter on this one with a decreased speed. Very good for the Fire Knight for progression. Attacks all enemies here, and each critical hit fills this champion's turn meter by 20%. So if it's a wave of 5 and he criticals, he's giving himself 100% more turn meter on an AoE nuke on a 3-turn cooldown. So he's almost getting an extra turn right away. And then he's got a turn meter steal that goes to a 4-turn cooldown that gives weaken and The biggest problem I think he has is this really should also be on a 3-turn cooldown. And if this was on a 3-turn cooldown, I think he'd get a lot more love than he does. He does okay damage. He's not an amazing damage dealer, but he's not a bad damage dealer. So he doesn't quite hit enough for damage to kill the waves as well. And that's really, I think, where Polarium could probably help him a little bit. Give him a little more attack, or make his multipliers a little bit better so he actually does more damage, or drop this by 1 turn and suddenly you have an amazing turn meter control kit that can almost lock out the Fire Knight himself, giving him some pretty good use. He's also really good against the Dark Fae as well. Again, I have solutions on this account, so I don't necessarily need him anymore, but for a lot of people, he could be an answer to Fire Knight, he can be an answer to Dark Fae. Heck, with the turn meter stuff, he could be an answer to Scarab as well, because controlling Scarab is actually one of the ways you can deal with Scarab. So, and he's got a good aura. So I like Growhack. I think he's pretty good. But we have 5 more shards to pull. Maybe we can get more gold. It would be awesome. That is a Hellgazer, not particularly exciting. That is a Husk. I like Husk. He certainly falls off, and he's certainly fallen off quite a bit with the increase in max HP champions, but this is still very good for control in Fire Knight, not in Fire Knight, but in Faction Wars. It's a very good Faction Wars skill because that AoE stun, bookable to 60%, is good. 4-turn cooldown, enemy max HP. Not bad. Husk is actually really good for progressing past Spider 19 because of this, because this AoE stun with a max HP hit can actually do some decent damage to the Spider, and he's the right affinity. And Spider 19 is actually a big struggle for a lot of people. Certainly a little less so now because there's more burn champions. Decent provoke. This skill is kind of forgettable because the damage is just not that great, even when it's based on. And plus, this is based off of HP. This is based off of attack, and this is a just pure enemy max HP. So, you know what? I'll build him for HP because then he's tanky. He means he's not going to do as much damage on this skill, but he's going to be built for damage. And he might hit okay with this skill, but I'd rather just turn this one off and get that extra provoke against Hydra, just in case. If it's on auto, he might provoke the right head. Let's get some better champions. Let's go. And what am I talking about? I got a Trunda. I can't complain. Steel Skull, love this dude. Brings a lot of support for Faction Wars. Decent kit overall. Definitely been power crept, but you know what? For an epic, he's pretty solid. That is an Aothar. Early poisons. He's got a bunch of poisons here. Unfortunately, these are little poisons until you ascend him. But, 4 poisons, not too bad. It's a very Kale-esque skill, but for Clan Boss, that's not too bad. Block active skills. So I actually got a couple places where it's useful in the game. It's not an AoE, which is unfortunate. And then he does okay damage. We're stealing random buffs. Could be an okay Clan Boss champion for some progression, but honestly, I wouldn't invest in him too much because the investments you'd make in him, Kale does almost the exact same stuff that he does, probably better just because he's got the AoE as well. So, last shard. Sepulchre Sentinel, a Clan Boss staple with increased defense and block debuffs on a 4-turn cooldown for 2 turns. Build her on a 4-3 rotation, and she can get it up reliably at the same time all the time. Very, very helpful, but that's really kind of her mainstay. Plus, the decreased attack is not bad since it's on this, and she's going to get at least 2 if not 3 hits with this. This is somewhat reliable, but it's okay. She definitely falls off in that, and that's really her only real big place in the game unless you absolutely need block debuffs for something else. Not bad. She has a chance of blocking incoming damage randomly on a couple turns, but it's not 100% reliable. So there we go. That is everything we need to get. Let's go check out the Summon Rush just to make sure. We got all the way down here to this Mythical Tome. I don't need to pull my last one just for this Legendary Skill Tome. I'm going to save that sacred. We'll grab all of this stuff that's not energy because I can right now. And in fact, for a bonus, if we've got, in fact, oops, I grabbed some energy. That's fine. We can go into the forge. And do I have a relic crafting? I do. So let's go see if I can get kind of lucky here and crafting some relics. And, yep, That's good. I actually could use another one of these. I know who this is going on. I got the first one of this got on a Rhodos. I can certainly put the second one on my other Rhodos, or this is going to go on Narcissus. It's going to go on one of the two of them. We'll figure that one out, but that's awesome. And let's go here. Can we get something else good? That is another epic. Not bad. Where's defense increased by 1% each time they receive damage? Stacks up to 10%. That's interesting. Maybe on a Harima, or definitely on some of my tankier champions that I need to be able to survive, because, that looks like a decent one overall. I'm not going to complain about that one. And let's see if we can get the legendary for the Alice event. Nope, we got another Hatter's Reserve. Yeah, that's fine. I can use a couple of these. So, all right, let's go hop on my main and see what I can pull there. Alrighty, we are on my main here. We are going to pull 13 shards. Well, we're going to pull 11 and see if I get a legendary. Now, I am not near Mercy. In fact, I've 0 for Mercy. So apparently the last one I pulled was the last 1+1, most likely. Or I got a legend. Actually, I did remember. I got a legendary on my last shard for the last video we did. So we are going to pull, I'm going to pull 11 of them. And if I get a legendary, I'm definitely going to stop. If not, we're going to go to 13 and we'll certainly see, because I really like to get to that 14th to get that legendary Hatter stuff and try to craft a, good relic on this account as well. We'll certainly see, but we are going to go here again. We are going to go for Fina because I've got these two. I don't have a Kaja, but I think Fina is really going to be the best of those champions. Plus, she's the rarest, so I can get a Kaja almost any time from any shard anyway. So let's get pulling here. Again, we do have Pepsi. Come on, Pepsi. Let's get that sponsorship deal worked out. And let's get pulling. That is a Crimson Helm. If you are desperate, you can manual a run with Crimson Helm to beat Bommel because she has a block damage right here on a 3-turn cooldown, but it is a really difficult build and it is 10 to 15 minutes of manualing, so I really don't recommend that. That is a Fang Cleric. If you need a reviver in Faction Wars, he's okay. That is a Deathless. We don't care about a Deathless. Not particularly good. That is a Dur the Hungerer. He is actually pretty solid. He gives you some continuous heals and reflect damage. This gives you some healing in Demon Spawn, and the Demon Spawn faction doesn't have a lot of healing, so that's actually pretty impressive. And then he's got a effectively kind of AoE. It's 2 random allies, which is a little annoying, but it's a decent revive, 50% HP, 50% turn meter on a 4-turn cooldown when you book him. Very, very critical for clan boss, or not clan boss, for faction wars, but honestly not great anywhere else. But given it's him and Duchess that are revivers in that faction, if you've got a Dur the Hungerer, save him for faction wars if you're struggling through faction wars. That is a Horden, not particularly exciting. That is a Gory, also not particularly exciting. Come on, we want some gold. That is a Malkith. He is a decent reviver. I've actually not used him because I've got a Rector Drath built on most of these accounts. But he's got a random 2 revive. This revive is okay. The shield is pretty decent. It's based on this champion's max HP, which is helpful. This revive, otherwise, it's okay. It's on a 4-turn cooldown. It's got an AoE attack all enemies, decrease the duration of enemy buffs, and has a chance to decrease the duration of all ally buffs. That is actually a fairly useful skill, particularly for the Valkyrie waves. So this could be very interesting to use. The big problem is he does have to attack everybody, and it's only a 1-turn reduction, and he does need to be booked. So if they have counterattack, they're still going to all counterattack him, which could be bad. But at least it can get through some of that stuff. And then stealing random buff from the target, not bad. He's not horrible. Faction crypt accuracy doesn't suck. Rector's a better healer survivor carry, but he's got some good utility too, so I can't complain too much about him. Probably actually should build one at some point. Ilgerna, not particularly exciting. Come on. That is a Kunoichi. She's okay. All right, so we've got 4 left, so I'm pulling at least 2 more. If I get a legendary, we're stopping at that. Let's get that legendary early. Come on, Polarium. Lodric Falconheart, or Falconhead as some people like to call him. Really good for a Scarab boss, actually, because he's got a very, very chunky shield that can get down to a 2-turn cooldown. He's kind of hard to make super fast because his base speed is kind of slow. But for Scarab boss, I built him on my main, and for the longest time, he was the shield champion for that. So if you're struggling with Scarab, he can be a very, very good champion build for that. And if not, that's probably the best place for him. Early on, he's not too bad with that big shield too. Chancellor Yasmin, we don't care for her. So we're pulling at least 1 more, probably 2 more. Let's get some gold. That is a Romero. All right, so we're finally actually starting to hit Mercy. We're pulling 1 more. Maybe we'll get lucky. Nope. That is a Scaramus. That is not particularly exciting. I would love 1 more. We're not going to pull the Voids or Ancients. If I have to pull Mystery Shards to get them, let's go check Clan Boss quickly and see if we've got 1 more. Because I think I didn't actually check my Clan Boss. I did check my Nightmare Clan Boss, so I don't have any more. That's unfortunate. So no legendary for me at the moment. We'll certainly see if one shows up at some point in time. So, and if I have one, I'll pull one of them, maybe on stream later tonight or tomorrow night, and get these Royal Masks. If not, I'll be doing a bunch of Mystery Shards to get there. I only need 350 to get there, so that's not too bad. So I guess I could throw 3 Voids as well, but I'm not a big fan of randomly eating Voids if I can avoid it. So let's just grab all the rest of this stuff. Not the energy this time. And let's see if we have any interesting relics to forge while we're here. So got enough of this to forge a relic here. Let's see if we can get something interesting. That is not particularly great. I keep all of these things because you can use them as chickens effectively for doing the relics. So do not just sell any of these relics if they're not great. What do we get here? That is, that's interesting. I like this one. This is actually good to throw on some revivers or champions you're going to be using to keep other people alive. Turn meter increase 10% when one of the allies dies. You know, it's a good passive to have. So cannot complain about this at all. I'll find a use for that one. So, and unfortunately, when I was talking about the Headers Reserve, putting it on Rhodos, that was on the wrong account. So I'll have to figure out who I'm going to put those Headers Reserve on my alt. But hey, appreciate you guys sticking around. You know, hey, I got some really good champions on my alt. And who knows, maybe I'll pull that one last Sacred and get something good on my main a little later. And if not, you know what? It is what it is. So appreciate you guys hanging around. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate all of the love and support. I will see you maybe tonight as of filming this, or maybe tonight as of when I post this for streaming. Check me out on Twitch in the link below. And I'll see you guys all later. Till the next video, I'm Bront CatHerder.